I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
Vice President Harris getting an endorsement and a phone call from former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. This call happening while she was here in Indiana on Wednesday. Now, this week we're also looking at the Real Clear Politics average of all the recent polls. This new matchup of Trump versus Harris showing the former president up by a point or two, but she's been closing the gap in some polls compared to where President Biden had been in recent weeks. So let's talk about it all now with our panel. Here with us in studio this week, we have former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, and two former state lawmakers. For the Democrats, former state rep Terry Austin, and for the Republicans, former state rep Mike Murphy. Great to have you all with us today. Terry, what do you make of the numbers we're seeing so far and the energy that Democrats think her campaign is already bringing to this race?
Well, I believe her numbers will continue to rise. And I can tell you it's more than just the energy that people think, it's the energy that's happening. I was on a call last night with over 100,000 women. She raised $2.5 million in a little over 2 hours. That number continues to climb today. In my role as county chairman in Madison County, I've had continuous walk-ins, phone calls, and texts from women who want to get involved. And these are not typically people who've shown up before.
We'll see what happens and the impact it has. Mike, no doubt this move to change the top of the ticket this late in the game is truly an unprecedented and history-making move. What was your reaction to the events of this past week?
Well, I think that Harris is the obvious choice. First of all, she has her wits about her, number one. She's a much better speaker than Biden. And she has, proven her qualifications through a career in California. The question is, can she transfer that? There are legitimate issues to attack her on. She's against fracking. She's, she's presided over some of the worst inflation since the 1970s, for example. She's not done well with the border. So I think there's issues to attack her. We don't have to attack her for being black or for being a woman or for whatever J.D. Vance is saying these days.
Tony, does this potentially change the strategy for the presidential campaigns in terms of their style and also in terms of which states they're prioritizing? And what about this statement from President Trump this week that he's not committed just yet to a debate with her? Why not?
Well, he's going to debate her, and I think he looks forward to it, and I think he'll be great, and he'll do the same thing to her that he did to Joe Biden as far as winning the debate, overwhelmingly. As far as her being the candidate, it's been a bizarre few weeks, but I think this was either choreographed and planned all along, or, they finally got Biden out, and the numbers that you're seeing for her, which aren't great, but I think they're more a reflection of people wanting Biden to be gone because the numbers were so high as far as his disapproval from the Democrat Party. So she's got a little bit of a bump, but when people look at her record, she doesn't have a good record as a prosecutor or as a senator, especially not as a VP, because she was part of the team that led this country into a disastrous period.
Robin, your response to that, and what do you make of the president's decision, the Oval Office speech, and now the vice president's campaign launch here in Indy and elsewhere?
These guys are on the sidelines trying to figure out a new play. It's a whole new playbook. They don't even know how to deal with her. One day she's colored, another day she laughs too much, another day they criticize her hair, they criticize Mountain Dew. Dan, there were 100,000 people on a call the day after black women across the country. 100,000 there. I was at the convention center. You saw the enthusiasm. It was energy. And she got up on that stage and commanded that room. So anyone that doubts that she has leadership skills might want to revisit those.
Mike, we had both J.D. Vance and Vice President Harris here in Indiana the very same day. It's rare we see this much attention from presidential and vice presidential candidates here in the Hoosier State.
Yeah, it's good for money primarily. I mean, I'm sure they raised a lot of money in Fort Wayne. I'm sure they're going to raise a lot of money in peripheral things, or did, with Vice President Harris. It's a very ephemeral kind of effect, though. It's about a 3-hour blip, and it's gone because they move on to bigger issues in the next crisis.
Meantime, Terry, the Harris campaign is now vetting potentially as many as a dozen possible running mates, including former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who will be here in Indiana on Friday. Do you think he has a shot here at getting on the ticket?
I know he is eminently qualified and would make a great VP or president for this country at some point. I don't know what she and her campaign will decide they need to round out this campaign, strengthen her numbers, and bring in some voters. So that needs to be their total focus, is who will help complement and strengthen this ticket.
Robin, how do you see this process playing out in terms of selecting a running mate and getting this process going ahead of the convention, which is just a few weeks away?
Well, a lot of people are calling, giving recommendations of who should be. You're going to be in Chicago. I mean, people are already starting their lobbying, but
And a lot of it will get settled before Chicago,
Dan,
potentially,
I
in
not
this
remember
virtual roll call.
not too long ago, people said we didn't have a bench. We have a very good bench and a very experienced bench, and we'll come up with a good vice presidential candidate.
Tony, what about the impact here in Indiana? Some Indiana Democrats this week saying they think the Harris campaign could even energize races down ballot here in Indiana. Do you think that's a legitimate concern at all for Republicans?
Not a legitimate concern at all, but we should and we will take the race seriously from, governor and lieutenant governor and attorney general. Those guys will work hard. Mike Braun, the Braun Beckwith ticket, put out a property tax reform plan. It's a great plan. It's going to help Hoosier homeowners that have been hurt by inflation, and it was important that they did that. They're going to have other proposals. They're a strong ticket. There won't be any threat on the fundraising front, and we're going to have big wins here in Indiana.
We're going to talk about that race for governor here coming up next. We're also going to hear one-on-one from Governor Eric Holcomb about his latest overseas trip to Australia. My interview with the governor from overseas coming up right after this when In Focus continues.